kilometers through the heart of Bengaluru. Tomorrow for a couple of hours, Motor will be there early morning, around afternoon. From here, the Prime Minister, after a roadshow ends around 1:30, is actually going to be addressing two rallies in Bedami and Bengaluru areas. So clearly, the BJP realizes that the last few days, just as any political party does, the last few days becomes always very, very critical in deciding factor. So the Prime Minister's image, the talk about the double engine ki sarkar, that a party in power at the state is the same at the center. It's easier to replicate the schemes of the government of the center at the state level. That is actually the pitch of the Prime Minister. We can see those pictures, Anjali, of the Prime Minister going through a mega roadshow. There are people thanking him on both the sides. A large number of people, of course, who have turned up, party workers, people in Bengaluru. Today also happens to be a weekend. So that's why that day also has been carefully chosen so as not to inconvenience the people. And you can see those pictures, where people are come here to gather as he passes through the most important heart of Bengaluru. He's going to go to a Jayanagar area. Then after that, he's going to culminate towards Malleshwaram area in Bengaluru as well.
Also, Pallavi, even the Congress is not leaving any stone unturned, as former Congress President Sonia Gandhi will also be addressing a public meeting in Hubli. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, I mean, she's normally stayed away from any sort of campaigning, and I think in a long, long time, we are going to be seeing Sonia Gandhi addressing a rally in Hubli. That's also not Karnataka, but also a belt in which the Congress has not been very strong. But the Congress is opening the Jagdish Shettar factor, where he's joined the Congress party from the BJP, and he's also a candidate from Hubli Central. It could be one swing factor, the Lingayat vote bank, the Hindutva vote bank. These are the factors which the Congress party is banking upon. And therefore, there's going to be a joint rally by both Sonia Gandhi as well as Rahul Gandhi later this evening at around 5:30 in Hubli.
Also, Pallavi, we saw that the plan of the roadshow had to be changed. So why was the roadshow rescheduled?
Well, the NEET exams which are taking place, entrance exams which are taking place, and the party made it very clear yesterday also on record, we do not want to inconvenience the students. Though it's a weekend, there are still people who may be having some plans, and if you look at the route map of the Prime Minister's roadshow, it actually goes to all the critical, important and the heart of Bengaluru. North, South, Central Bengaluru is what has been earmarked, and therefore attempts are being made. There have been 18 spots which have been set up for the media. Passes have been issued. No one is going to be allowed to inconvenience anyone else. The party workers too have been given a very, very clear directive that life must carry on beyond the roadshow venue and the route. And therefore, that's one reason why there has been a reworking of the Prime Minister's roadshow, which is now going to be spreading over 2 days.
Show Jimmy Jib if it comes in frame. Avoid not to show Jimmy.
So Prime Minister Narendra Modi is holding a mega roadshow in Bengaluru. As you can see on your screens right now, people are showering flower petals on Prime Minister Modi. Our correspondent Ritu is live with us. So Ritu, clearly a lot of enthusiasm and energy among the people of Bengaluru, and they are too excited for this roadshow.
Very true. The people here in the Bengaluru are too excited to just get the glimpses of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. For most of them, it was for the first time that they really got to see Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And what is really interesting in this assembly election, you see most of the first-time voters have all come on the streets to see PM, and also they really trying to understand how is that their leader had worked, trying to analyze and how they should really be voting this time in the election. So this is really very important, and also differently that we are getting to see on the ground. Of course, that most of the first-time voters being too excited, coming along with their family members. So yes, that's an awful attempt of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well. You remember he has also given a clear indication to most of his party workers to pull as many as people on the streets to make them understand how important the elections are and how important it is for one to discharge his or her duty as a citizen by voting to a public representative, which is of their choice again. But however, all three parties will make all their attempts to try and woo them, also speak to them about the kind of work that they have done it. So this is an important roadshow that the PM is holding here in the Silicon Valley. 26.5 kilometers of this rally will be passing by the assembly constituencies where the BJP happens to be strong, but this is all that the attempt from PM as well, where the state leaders are also hoping that PM in the IT city would help them to win in the constituencies where the Congress is also strong. But yes, it won't be easy, because you see in the constituencies like Chamrajpet, where Zamir Ahmed is a present MLA, also in the Dinesh Gundurao again from the other constituency, from the Gandhinagar, again that won't be easy for the BJP to win as well, because they're really strong in these constituencies. But yes, they are also facing some sort of an anti-incumbency, that there hasn't been a proper work that has been done in their areas. But however, we'll have to see that how is the people are going to really vote this time. It's an interesting game, because no party really has a majority of the MLAs this time, because you see the BJP has 15 MLAs, and that too all thanks to by-elections, that they were able to win more four seats this time, because initially it was level with the BJP, and after by-election they went on to win more 4. So that there the tally stands at 15, and then you have the Congress with the 12 MLAs and JDS just 1. So we do know that the JDS is yet to make their full-time presence in the Silicon Valley. But however, the BJP this time ensuring that the star campaigner, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, helps them in some sort by keeping the anti-incumbency in the backdrop. But however, we'll have to see how is all this going to work. But no doubt that the excitement that the Prime Minister also had it by tweeting it before getting onto the roads of in the Bengaluru, in fact. But also on the other hand, people are here with the flower petals, all with the pictures too, trying to show that to PM and speaking to them in a way with love and affection as well. So that's the kind of atmosphere that we're really getting to see in the IT city Bengaluru.
Right, Ritu, please stay with us. We have our political editor Maria Shakil joining us. So Maria, clearly none of the parties, be it the BJP or the Congress, have a clear edge in Bengaluru. But do you think that this roadshow will be able to change that?
Well, to say that none of the parties have a clear edge would not be fair assessment. Because the election has more or less taken shape. But as far as Bengaluru is concerned, the BJP has concerns. It did have, most MPs from Bengaluru, so they are hoping that as far as the MPs are concerned, they'll be able to convert that into assembly seats. But the mood on ground to the 36-kilometer roadshow with the Prime Minister embarked on is important, because it covers, constituencies of Bengaluru Central. It also covers, and on Sunday we will be covering constituencies of Bengaluru South. So these are constituencies which come in Bengaluru Central Parliamentary constituency. And we have seen the kind of push that has come from various leaders who have, for example, Shobha Karanlige, who is the convener of the BJP, State Election Management Committee. All of them are focusing on how this 36-kilometer long road should not inconvenience people at large. if you remember, during Prime Minister Modi's last roadshow, which was on April 29, bus services had been suspended for the day in Bengaluru North Lok Sabha constituency, and the commuters were inconvenienced. So this time around, the BJP is trying to ensure that the commuters are not inconvenienced, particularly, those students who would be appearing for the NEET exams and other concerns. And for them, the entire roadshow goes off, smooth. This is Bengaluru Central, as I pointed out, where the Prime Minister's roadshow, would be held. This becomes important because the roadshow will be moving to Govindaraj Nagar, Rajaji Nagar, Chamad, Jayanagar, and Bomana Hali. All these constituencies through which the Prime Minister's roadshow will be crossing.
Right, Maria. Also, ahead of this roadshow, PM Modi stressed that the bond between Bengaluru and BJP is an old and strong one, and that the city has always supported the BJP since the early days. Can you give us more context on this?
Yes. So the state of Karnataka becomes important in the BJP's, from the RSS point of view and also from the BJP point of view, because BJP has made all efforts to retain the state of Karnataka in southern India, while in most parts of southern India, the BJP is still trying to, get a foothold. But in Karnataka, this is the only state in southern India where the BJP has had governance in the past. And even right now, Mr. Bomai government is there, and he's the incumbent government. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is trying to send that message that this is about ensuring that when his roadshow traverses through Jayanagar, Govindarajanagar, Rajaji Nagar, and will be ending at the Maleshwara temple in Maleshwaram Assembly constituency, he will be able to have that personal connect with the people of Bengaluru, try and ensure that all the development activities that the city has seen in particular, be it the airport expansion and others, all of that will be attributed to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government at the center. So it's a multi-message event right now that we are seeing, which started just 10 minutes back. And it will be continuing for the next 4 to 5 hours.
Right, Maria. Thank you for those details and for that context. Crossing over to our correspondent Ritu, who is live with us from Bengaluru. So, Ritu, it's a super political weekend in Karnataka, where on one side PM Modi is holding a mega roadshow in Bengaluru, and on the other hand, the Congress is also not leaving any stone unturned, as we will be seeing Sonia Gandhi joining the campaign along with Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi.
Well, very true. You see, the Congress is also leaving no stone unturned there, again making full attempts to ensure that they win this time. But here you can see, I really saw him standing here from a long time. We'll try and speak to him. सर, आप सुबह से यहाँ पर खड़े थे, बहुत टाइम से मैंने आपको यहाँ पर देखा, केवल प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी जी को देखने के लिए आप यहाँ पर थे. तो किस तरीके से आज आपने पीएम को जो फाइनली देखने को मिला आपको?
मुझे बहुत खुशी है. I'm very excited. I'm very happy because from morning 6:30 I was here and I wanted to see Modi. I'm really big fan. I'm not into any politics, but the last 2 decades, how Modi has been developed India and how he developed the skills and the youth like we. He showed how to work, and we need to earn the money and improve the nations. That's amazing guy. Amazing guy. I really tell you, to the entire nation. It may be Hindu, it may be Christian, or it may be Muslim. As Modi is a hope for all of us. It's for hope for not only India. He's a hope for the world. So he's a world leader. I'm very happy. He's from Indian. So he's our Prime Minister. I'm so glad. I don't know what to talk, but Modi, Narendra Modi ji ke!
There you see Prime Minister is a sign of hope and inspiration to them. Sir, but Bengaluru, the Silicon Valley that we're talking about, is also battling with various civic issues. So this time Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the Bengaluru will really make some impact for the BJP. Will the BJP be able to win majority of the seats this time? Remember, there are a lot of civic issues that the city is battling with.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೋದಿ ಅವರು ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರೇ ಏನೇ ಅಪಪ್ರಚಾರ ಯಾವುದೇ ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಲಿ, ಎಲ್ಲರದ್ದು ಯೋಗ್ಯತೆ ಇಷ್ಟು 60 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ನೋಡಿದೀವಿ, ಎಲ್ಲರದ್ದು ನೋಡಿದೀವಿ. ಇವಾಗ ಇವರು ಯಾರು ಇಂಥ ಕೊರೋನಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೋದಿ ಬದುಕಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ಹಿಂದೂ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಂ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತೀಯರಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ, ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಆದರೆ ಇಂಥ ಕಷ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶ ಈಗ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೋದಿ.
There you see, he has to say that under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the nation has grown. There is a lot that the PM has also done during the COVID time, and that is something that the citizens of Bengaluru do not want to forget and are thankful to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But here I can also see a woman voter as well. Remember, there is an equal ratio of men voters and the male and the female voters in the Bengaluru, and from the JP Nagar, you see there are almost 6 lakh voters this time. So of course this is an important assembly constituency as well. Madam, what is that you have to say about the kind of work that the BJP has done at this time, whether the party will be able to get the full majority?
Yes, madam, definitely I'm hoping that BJP will get the majority, because people should recognize the work he has done during COVID time, during hard times. Each and economically weaker section were supported to the maximum extent. But I think
you are a woman voter, I really want to ask you something, that you see there's a lot about the women's safety that we talk about. Most of the women also complain about it, saying that there is no safety for the women actually in the IT city. Also that the government also promised to install a lot of cameras inside the buses because of the alleged harassment cases that had actually taken place. So do you really think that the party has, the government, the BJP government has done enough for the women voters as well?
they have done. I assure you, they have done what the state was before and what it is now. If you compare, you will come to know how the thing has improved a lot. We being locals, we know the difficulties.
There you go, the local voices saying that since they are the localites, they really know Bengaluru city well, what has happened during the Congress party and what has happened when the BJP came back to the power. This time, while they're all, while they're all speaking to us, really one thing that we can understand is that how much is the Prime Minister Narendra Modi factor is going to really work. So with so many people that we tried speaking, one of course the huge crowd, and then the people coming out and ensuring that their voices are being heard, or also telling that the Congress party, when they were in a power for a long time, did nothing for the city. There were also similar cases of the pothole, lives being claimed, and also other issues too. But this time again that the BJP party, which has got less time, as they are saying it, if parties again given a chance, then this time there will be a lot of work that the party might try and do it for the people. But this is all that we have to really wait and watch out for.
Also, Ritu, what are the key issues of the people in Bengaluru, and not just in Bengaluru, in the whole state of Karnataka?
When we talk about the issues, there are of course a lot of issues that one really can talk at this point in time, that we did see how much of that when we talk about the Bengaluru, the floods that the city witnessed last year. Remember, most of the corridors, the IT corridors were completely flooded. The normal life was thrown out of the gear for most of the people, whether it's a poor, rich or normal class family, all of them were equally affected. There was a huge outrage as well against the party leaders, any party leaders for that matter, and also against the BJP government, especially because Karnataka Chief Minister Basuraj Bommai, as most of them went on to allege that he has just made a fake promises but hasn't done anything for the Bengaluru. But here you see the people say that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, under his leadership, he had ensured that most of the central government schemes reach out to Karnataka. The people of Karnataka happen to take benefit of it at a fullest, and also the metro line construction, the Bengaluru Bengaluru-Mysuru Expressway as well, which was a long time demand for the people. That has all come true for them. But in the Bengaluru that we're talking about, we tried also speaking to the women voters, who of course seems to be very confident, but on the other hand we do know that how many of the cases has also been witnessed when it comes to the safety of the women as well. So this time, how is it all going to be important as well for the BJP to ensure that they keep all these voters in the mind, and also their points that really they have to raise and tackle them all if they really happen to come back to the power, which is really not going to be easy as well. But when we talk about the other parts of the Karnataka, the Kalyan Karnataka region, remember there is a huge lack of the bus facility.
So Prime Minister Modi is holding a mega roadshow in Bengaluru, and he will be covering a distance of 26 kilometers, and he will also be holding a roadshow tomorrow, which will be 10 kilometers long. Now today he will be passing through 18 assembly constituencies, which includes some BJP constituencies as well as some constituencies which are Congress stronghold. And and this is a massive show of strength by the BJP ahead of the polls in Karnataka, where PM Modi is holding a mega roadshow in Bengaluru. It's a two-day roadshow, and today he will be passing through 18 assembly constituencies. The roadshow started at around 10:15 and will be ending at around 12:30 p.m. today. He will also be holding a roadshow tomorrow and will be covering a distance of 10 kilometers. Now, ahead of this roadshow, PM Modi stressed on the fact that the BJP and Bengaluru have a strong bond, and that it's an old one, and that the people of Bengaluru have always showered their blessings on the party, and it's an old bond that the BJP has with Bengaluru. And today Prime Minister Modi is holding this mega roadshow in Bengaluru, where the people who are attending this roadshow seem to be very enthusiastic and excited, and they have been showering flowers on Prime Minister Modi. And I'm crossing over to my colleague Ritu, who is joining us live from Bengaluru. Ritu, also if you could tell us how crucial it is for the BJP as well as the Congress to win these elections.
Is really very important for both Congress as well as for the BJP, because in the Bengaluru that we're talking about, you see, no party really has the majority of the MLAs. The BJP, you see, as I was really pointing out earlier, that first in the last assembly elections that they had 11 MLAs, but after the by-election they happened to get 4 more MLAs, and the tally stands at 15. And the Congress has 12 and the JDS just has 1 MLA. But now this time the JDS is also trying to make its footprint in the Silicon Valley, but how much of it is going to really be successful, that needs to be seen. But on the other hand, the Congress has always gone on to allege, and remember has carried out most of the unique protests as well in the IT city Bengaluru, and there was all full attempt to woo these voters and ensure that the voters vote in their favor this time, because they had gone on to allege the BJP government is a 40% corrupt government, and for any post for that matter, that one really has to pay a bribe as well for any post, whether it's about taking up as in the, teaching a job, or for that matter the graduates as well. So there are many the government posts as well which are all empty, and the BJP government hasn't filled it. So now you see the Congress is saying that if they are really voted back to the power, they will ensure that all these posts, the empty posts, will be filled, and the government will really immediately take a step to give these youngsters an opportunity, because the city is also battling facing unemployment issue as well. So again, that remains on the top. That remains the top priority of the Congress party there. But as said, you see, in this the constituencies where the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is taking out his roadshow is moreover the stronghold of the BJP. But there are few Congress MLAs as well, which will really not be easy for the BJP to win in those constituencies. Somewhere like the Chamarajpet. Chamarajpet is really a stronghold from a really long time of the Congress, where right now Zamir Ahmed is the present MLA, and Bhaskar Rao, the former top cop of Bengaluru, will be taking against him. But again, it is really not going to be easy for him. On the other hand, the Gandhinagar Congress MLA Dinesh Gundu Rao is a MLA from that constituency from a very long time, where again for a BJP candidate it will really not be easy to win against him. And all attempts again from the Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the Chikpet as well, where the Chikpet MLA Garudacharya is facing an anti-incumbency. So the party leaders are somewhere hoping that the PM in their constituency will help them keeping this anti-incumbency in the background and sway these voters as well, because we have seen how is this all factor has worked it. But today in the Bengaluru South that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is, you see here, the Brahmins and Vokaligas are dominant in number. So this this is where the BJP is also hoping that this communities as usually voted for them in a majority number. So this time again they are hoping that somewhere the caste calculation will also work in their favor. But on the other hand, the party, the kind of manifesto that they have really brought out, where they are saying that the double engine Sarkar, if voted back to the power, then their priority will be to bring this Bengaluru even more on a top list, to ensure that it goes on to make that mark when it comes to the development, when it comes to the infrastructure, when it comes to the employment opportunities as well, where a lot of startups will be given an opportunity. There will be much of that the foreign investment will also come to IT cities. So this is all the promise. These are the promises that the BJP is making. On the other hand, the Congress is saying that these are all just the fake promises of the BJP, who have always gone on to tell something like this to the people of the Bengaluru, but nothing really has worked out. But this time it's a neck-to-neck close fight between especially the BJP and the Congress, where the JDS presence is yet not felt in the Bengaluru. But we'll have to see how is this all really going to work for the BJP.
Right, Ritu, please stay with us. We also have our correspondent Harish Upadhyay with us. Harish, how important it is for the BJP to win these elections, given that the Lok Sabha polls are scheduled to take place the next year?
Well, in terms of general elections, the BJP is placed well in Bengaluru. They've won most of the constituencies. The only constituency that they haven't managed to win is Bengaluru Rural. That's represented by DK Shivkumar's brother, DK Suresh. But they've won Bengaluru South, they've won Bengaluru Central and Bengaluru North, all three constituencies in the city. But the BJP would be hoping to consolidate and even manage to win the Bengaluru Rural constituency as well. For that to happen, the BJP has to do two things. One, it has to increase its number of MLAs in the city, and that's one way they can further consolidate the BJP vote base. Second, there are pockets within BJP's stronghold where the Congress has managed to win. So the BJP would be hoping that this rally will ensure that the BJP, which holds a significant vote share in some of these constituencies, can turn it around and win the seat as well. For example, Jayanagar has been a BJP bastion. It's seen as an area that has a demography that really is in favor of the BJP. But last time round, after the death of sitting MLA Vijay Kumar, you have the Congress's Soumya Reddy who won that seat. The BJP is very desperate to gain that seat back because it believes then it will ensure that the whole of South Bengaluru is in BJP's favor, is in its hand, and all the MLAs from the constituencies in this region are represented by the BJP. That's the thinking, and that is why this roadshow will help the BJP attain the vote share required to gain some of these seats. The second aspect is, remember, over the last year or so, the Basuraj Bommai government has received quite a bit of flack from residents of Bengaluru, whether it's because the floods that took place in two zones, in Bommanadi and Madhepura area, zones of Bengaluru, or the pothole roads that we've seen in several areas of the city that saw multiple deaths and the government failing to get a grip over it. The third aspect is that there's a lot of construction happening, whether it's because the metro or flyovers that are happening at multiple places. There is a lot of construction work resulting in slow-moving traffic and terrible road infrastructure, and the BJP hasn't managed to solve it. There is a fear among some of the BJP MLAs that this could hit them during the election. The BJP is hoping that the Prime Minister's rally could wash away all those negative criticisms against the Basuraj Bommai government for failing Bengaluru.
All right, Harish and Ritu, please stay with us. We're slipping into a very short break, but we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Reasonable duration of time.
For 60 years not done this.
Okay.
Why they have not recognized the Bengaluru potential? Why they have not brought this terminal to Bengaluru?
Okay.
Why they have not established 7 airports? Why without any business is there scope
So
to
let me ask
airports?
Aishwarya Mahadev, and I think she has a fair point in as much as I started the show by saying that it's not that the traffic problem has suddenly burst in the last 2 or 3 years. It's been there for the last 20 years. I have this interesting survey. It's called the Traxon survey. Bangalore, by the way, has the highest amount of time that any resident spends on the road. It is 230 hours in an entire year, which is roughly about 10 days, which means if everybody lives 365 days, 355 days Bangaloreans live, the rest of the 10 days you're spent in traffic. I mean, that's surely criminal.
Zaka, before I answer that, I think, when the Terminal 2 was spoken about, I think we saw videos of what recently happened with rains. But anyway, I think the larger problem, and also even the BJP's Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, has also admitted publicly, is that there are legacy issues when it came down to the administration with the BJP. But Zaka, I can say this emphatically that for the first time, see, we cannot all say that there was 100% governance in previous governments or successive governments whatsoever. But the unprecedented manner in how infrastructure has crumbled over these past 3-4 years, to the extent that the High Court had to haul up the government more than 8 to 10 times saying, do your job or we'll hold you in contempt. Or the fact that we saw Bangalore streets becoming Venice. We saw cars floating around everywhere, and this extends beyond. As ma'am speaks about Nadaprabhu Kempegowda, I also believe that there was a limit to which he envisioned the city, and the burgeoning growth has added a lot of pressure. But I think the incentive on upgrading infrastructure, one, has been lax, and second, the BBMP, or rather not having accountability with the BBMP, has been a huge issue. Because at least with the political class or representation there are certain fingers that get pointed at, and miraculously closer to elections, things may or may not get done. But that has really choked the city of Bangalore, and I think that has been one of the biggest problems that we're seeing, and it's further deteriorating because I don't see any vision to fix it.
Wasn't this the case when Congress was also in power between 2013 and 18?
So if you look at the period of 13 and 18 also, whether we had rains or whatnot, we never saw infrastructure crumbling to this extent. Or whether you see that the half-baked projects that are being inaugurated, you have a metro station today that basically goes from KRpura to Whitefield, but the station from Bayapnali to KRpura doesn't even exist. Right? There is unscientific development that has happened and nobody to hold accountable, and I think that is a larger problem.
Okay, Prakash Belawadi. Again, I don't want to get into this political tu-tu-me-me between BJP and Congress. That's also been going on for the last 20 years. Nothing has changed. But yeah, one second. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. But where is the nub of the problem? I mean, I do see Bangaloreans complaining about whenever there is, infrastructure woes, traffic woes. Last year when the outer ring road belt got flooded, a lot of people came out on the streets and said this is not deserving of an aspiring to be first world city. But at the same time, you look at when it comes down to election time, when it comes down to voting. In the last election in 2018, the voting percentage in Bengaluru was 46%. Less than half the people actually turned up to vote. So you can complain for 4.5 years, but on the day that it matters, on the one day that your vote matters, if you're not going to turn up, then what Mr. Pai says is right. I mean, it's just 28 seats out of 224. It's 10% of the state. The politicians will not care.
Good morning, you're watching CNN News 18. I'm Arunima. The countdown has begun to voting day in Karnataka, and all stakeholders are now giving it their best shot in these slogovers. Prime Minister Modi's roadshow in Bengaluru has been on for the last 1 hour. He's expected to touch all major routes in Bengaluru before ending, his roadshow around 12:30. You can see the enthusiasm in these pictures. Voters have lined up on both sides. There are some cultural performances that have been organized by the Bharatiya Janata Party as well. Home Minister Amit Shah had to cancel his engagements in Karnataka yesterday because of the Manipur incidents that have been happening, and he has been reviewing. But the Prime Minister has been relentless in wooing the voters, asking them to give BJP one more chance. And this record show that you're seeing, the road show where the Prime Minister's cavalcade is moving along the streets of Bengaluru, is BJP's last push. Harish is with me on the phone line. Harish, the last 1 hour or so, what has been the enthusiasm like amongst the Bengaluru voters?
Well, if you look at the areas passing, where this rally is passing through, this is the stronghold of the BJP. This is in the JP Nagar, Jainagar, Baswangudi area. It's an area that is represented by the BJP MP. It's also a couple of these constituencies are held by the BJP. One of them, Jainagar, is with the Congress. But it's a traditional bastion of the BJP for decades together. And the party has mobilized people in large numbers, very clear in the visuals that we are seeing on the screen. You also have workers as well as residents mobilized from neighboring constituencies as well, not just areas where this rally is passing through. The BJP wants to do three things with this roadshow. One, wash away all the negativity that's around Gomai's government because of the flood and photos.
रोड शो बेंगलुरु में क्यों, ये बड़ा सवाल है। वो इसलिए है क्योंकि मैं आपको पिछला जो विधानसभा चुनाव गुजरात का था उसके पहले यानी 2017 के विधानसभा चुनाव की बात बताता हूं। सूरत शहर में बीजेपी और कांग्रेस के बीच पूरे गुजरात में जबरदस्त फाइट थी, लेकिन सूरत शहर की सीटों पर प्रधानमंत्री के रोड शो से जो असर पड़ा, उसी वजह से भारतीय जनता पार्टी की वहां सरकार बन पाई। यही रणनीति बेंगलुरु में भी है कि अगर सीटें थोड़ी बहुत कम बेसी होती हैं तो बेंगलोर जहां 28 विधानसभा की सीटें हैं उन पर प्रधानमंत्री का रोड शो करा करके ज्यादा से ज्यादा सीटें अर्बन इलाके से जीती जाएं और अर्बन इलाके में बीजेपी अपेक्षाकृत रूप से मजबूत रही है पहले से, उसी रणनीति के तहत ये रोड शो हो रहा है।
That was my colleague Arun who is reporting and helping us understand the significance of the Prime Minister's road show in Bengaluru. What he was explaining is that BJP's strategy makers have analyzed the Gujarat elections. The last time elections when Surat post the GST decision by the parliament and the demonetized decision that was taken by the BJP government, the Surat business community was really upset, and it looked like that Congress would give Surat and in the rest of Gujarat a hard time. And the BJP's analysis is that the Prime Minister managed to swing those seats in favor of the BJP, and that same model is the attempt is to replicate in Bengaluru. There are about 28 seats in the Bengaluru in the larger constituency, 28 Vidhan Sabha seats there, and since the rest of the state, it is being speculated that the fight is very close and that the Congress is really underlining the anti-incumbency factor and trying to dislodge BJP. If you can manage to swing these 28 seats in and around Bengaluru, then perhaps the overall scale can be tilted in favor of the Bharatiya Janata Party. So it is with that strategy that Prime Minister has been asked to take charge once again. He's the mascot for the BJP. The votes are being sought in his name, even though the Congress has attempted to make this a local election.
और अगर ये रोड शो आज और कल का जो रोड शो का अगर इम्पैक्ट होगा तो बीजेपी का मानना है कि कम से कम 25 सीटें रोड शो के माध्यम से बीजेपी की झोली में जा सकती हैं। तस्वीरें मैं आपको दिखा दूं कि लोग बिल्कुल इंतजार में सुबह से ही यहाँ पर खड़े हैं। अब से कुछ देर में प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का रोड शो यहाँ पर निकलेगा। दोनों ही तरफ, एक तरफ नहीं, रोड के दोनों तरफ हजारों की संख्या में जो लोग हैं वो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी का इंतजार कर रहे हैं। काफी जोश है और केवल एक झलक पाना चाहते हैं और बीजेपी की भी कोशिश है कि लोगों के इस जुनून को प्रधानमंत्री मोदी के रोड शो के माध्यम से वोटों में तब्दील किया जा सके और जो कसर अगर कहीं रह जाती है तो ये बेंगलोर शहर और इसके आसपास की जो 32 सीटें हैं उनसे वो पूरी हो जाएं।
So like we were discussing and analysing that these seats around Bengaluru, the urban voters around Bengaluru, that is the target for the Bharatiya Janata Party, for which Prime Minister's road show is the mechanism that the BJP has worked out, trying to offset the damage, if there is any, from Mysuru region or from the rest of Karnataka. If they are going to go with any other party, the Congress and the JDS being the top two contenders. But the analysis from experts is that this election seems to be more between the Congress and the BJP, with Congress really trying to cash in on the anti-incumbency factor. Congress wants the focus to be on the Bombay government, calling that this government is corrupt, but the BJP wants the focus to be on the Prime Minister.
पर बीजेपी उतनी मजबूत नहीं थी, यानी कांग्रेस के इलाकों को छीनने की कोशिश बीजेपी कर रही है। और जो राजनीति में होता है, जहां तक कांग्रेस का सवाल है, आज सोनिया गांधी भी, राहुल गांधी भी मैदान में उतरे हैं और एक रैली कर रहे हैं। प्रियंका गांधी लगातार यहां पर हैं, यानी गांधी परिवार के तीनों सदस्य लगातार यहां पर कैंपेन कर रहे हैं। केंद्रीय नेतृत्व जो कांग्रेस का है, मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे यहीं से आते हैं, राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष है पार्टी के, प्रतिपक्ष के नेता है राज्यसभा में। तो बेंगलोर या फिर पूरे कर्नाटक की बात करें, वह स्थानीय मुद्दों पर लगातार कांग्रेस कहती है कि बीजेपी को स्थानीय मुद्दों पर लड़ना चाहिए। ये जो रोड शो आज हो रहा है, इस पर भी कांग्रेस ने सवाल उठाए थे कि प्रधानमंत्री रोड शो क्यों कर रहे हैं, मणिपुर की घटना को देखते हुए दिल्ली में क्यों नहीं है, वो क्यों बेंगलोर में है, बेंगलोर में क्या बीजेपी के पास स्थानीय नेता नहीं है? क्योंकि इसकी वजह यह है कि पता है कांग्रेस को भी कि प्रधानमंत्री सबसे बड़े क्राउड पुलर हैं और सबसे बड़े वोट पुलर भी हैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लिए। जहां भी वो जाते हैं वहां तस्वीर बदल देते हैं। यूपी की बात करिए आप, चाहे आप कर्नाटक की बात करिए, गुजरात की बात करिए। तो अब प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का ये रोड शो अब से थोड़ी देर बाद यहाँ पहुंचने वाला है। यतेंद्र के पास आएगा पहले रोड शो, उसके पास यहाँ आएगा और तब हम आपको यहाँ की और भी झलकियां दिखाएंगे।
Essentially, Bharatiya Janata Party wants to encash on Prime Minister's appeal and the goodwill that he enjoys amongst the people, and that's why this roadshow, the enthusiasm that those who are watching the roadshow, most out with their phones, some throwing flower petals. That entire stretch of the road has been covered with yellow flower petals. Most of the multi-storied buildings there have been used as vantage positions by the crowd who just want a glimpse of the Prime Minister. And these areas, like Harish was reporting, are mostly BJP dominated.
प्रधानमंत्री मोदी का रोड शो आने वाला है, लेकिन कैसे रास्ता दें? लेकिन पीएमओ की तरफ से स्पष्ट मैसेज है। ऊपर अधिकारियों से बात की, अधिकारियों ने तुरंत मैसेज दिया कि रास्ता खोल दिया जाए और जो पेशेंट है, जो एम्बुलेंस के अंदर पेशेंट है, उसको आगे जाने दिया जाए, हॉस्पिटल की तरफ जाने दिया जाए और ये रोड खोलकर एम्बुलेंस को रास्ता दिया गया। यानी कि प्रधानमंत्री मोदी की तरफ साफ मैसेज है कि किसी को भी उनके रोड शो की वजह से परेशानी ना हो, और यही कारण है कि कल भी जो रोड शो बड़ा होने वाला था, करीब 10 किलोमीटर से ज्यादा का, वो घटाकर 6 किलोमीटर कर दिया गया। और इसका कारण है कि कल
It looks like my colleagues on the ground were reporting that about some ambulance which got caught up in the Prime Minister's, in the path that the Prime Minister's roadshow is taking, and instructions have been issued that the ambulance must be given way. Jairam Ramesh of the Congress also criticized this morning through a tweet as to why Bengaluru residents were put to this kind of trouble, since this entire stretch of road where the roadshow is happening, almost 46 kilometers long, that no other vehicle is allowed, and only the Prime Minister's cavalcade is moving on this stretch. The Congress has been criticizing as to why you're inconveniencing people, but now my colleagues on the ground reporting that steps are being taken, that if there is an emergency, like if there is an ambulance which needs way, then for security concern, the patient's life cannot be endangered. That should be given priority. These are pictures from Bengaluru, 46-kilometer long road show, almost halfway down, inching towards the last mile now, and the enthusiasm of people from both sides is something that the BJP hopes will turn into votes as well. Flowers being thrown at him, people wanting to click photographs, just a selfie with him. Nobody is being allowed to come anywhere close, and you can see how the SPG is ensuring that as far as security protocol is concerned, that is followed, because there's been a few security scares lately, including one in Karnataka where a mobile phone was thrown at the Prime Minister, and at that point it was suggested that maybe when flowers were being thrown at him, whoever owned the mobile phone by mistake hurled it, but nevertheless it was a security scare, and that's why the local police and the SPG are being extra cautious. Ritu is with me tracking the story live. Ritu, help me understand the route that the Prime Minister is taking. The significance of this route, how many seats are at stake in this particular route?
Well, you see the Prime Minister Narendra Modi here in the pole-bound Karnataka, especially in the Silicon Valley that he is, being part of this big road show today that he'll be covering almost 26.5 kilometers, where there is the BJP is a stronghold, and of course there are 4 to 5 assembly constituencies where the Congress MLAs are presently. The Congress is in the power, but however the 18 assembly constituencies that he is covering today, 9 are with the BJP and rest are with the Congress. But of course it's really not going to be easy for the BJP this time, actually, because the kind of anti-incumbency that the party is facing here is now hoping that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi in their constituency would really help them to put this anti-incumbency in the back seat, and that factor really works for them. But we'll have to see that how much of this is really going to work, and how much of them who have all turned up today in the roadshow will be converted into votes. So that will be really interesting for us to really watch out on the day of elections, because we have seen how that there have been a lot of civic issues that the city is battling with, whether it's about the potholes, the bad roads, the infrastructure related issues, then the flood issues as well, where the IT corridors were all flooded, and there was a huge outrage as well from the people of the city, where they went on to claim, allege about the corruption as well with most of the public representatives, and not doing enough for the people. Every time there have only been a fake promises, and during the elections that they really come and get in touch with them, reach out to their doorsteps, votes, but right after they are voted, they do not turn up at all. But however, in this roadshow that we're talking about, there are Vokaligas and Brahmins who are dominant in numbers, and Brahmin vote bank is something that the BJP has always enjoyed. This time again, that the party seems confident that this particular community will be voting for the Bharatiya Janata Party. But on the other hand, there is also an attempt to woo these Vokaliga voters from the Bengaluru south, where the roadshow is really presently taking place. So that's an attempt from the Prime Minister Narendra Modi to woo the Vokaliga votes as well. But again, there are most of the MLAs, most of the candidates, of course, from the BJP are all, not the new faces. Moreover, are all the continuous faces that we're really getting to see this time in the election. But as said, you see, this is an important roadshow that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is taking out, and we really got to see how much is that the sea of people have all gathered to just get the glimpses of Prime Minister Narendra Modi with the placards in the hand, the chants for the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, people talking about how he has kept the nation secured and how is he ensuring that the India stands on the top list, and especially there from the Karnataka, and trying to make Karnataka as well as the #1 state. So that is all there on the minds of the voters, and that we're talking about is how much is the PM Modi factor really going to work in the Bengaluru. Then through the voters itself, their voices that we really heard makes us somewhere really clear, and also makes us believe that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi factor will really work for the BJP this time, because every time we had been here in the past elections as well, we have seen 2 to 5% of the vote share swaying towards the BJP. This time again, it will be interesting that how much are that the people will come out, pull their people as well to vote.
Right. Harish Upadhyay is also tracking the story. Let's see if we can patch him in. But while we wait for Harish, Ritu, please come in on this. The last few hours, I think the next 48 hours or so, campaigning will cease to happen there. Have you seen the election change in the last 15 days or so? Because there are multiple issues. It started off with Bommai government's alleged corruption. Then it went to Bajrang Dal, and now Prime Minister bringing in the focus on his governance, national issues. Is the mood of the voter also changing?
Very true. You see, when we talk about the Bengaluru, then of course the national issues are also a concern for the Bengalurians here. So while we were trying to talk to them, you see, they are also stressed on the local issues. They are saying that the BJP, if really voted back to the power, then when we give them some more time, then the leaders might again work towards those issues and ensure to fix those problems there. But on the other hand, you see, most of the localites here were also talking about the national issues, where they say that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has kept the nation very secured, trying to take India to a new level, to a next level as well. So that's again the point that one has to note from the Bengaluru, but also that we talk about how the Bharatiya Janata Party is taking out its campaign trial in the other parts of the Karnataka. Then you see there the local issues really matter, whether it's about the old Mysuru region or for that matter the Kalyan Karnataka region. In the Kalyan Karnataka region that we're talking about, you see the supply of the water is a really big concern for the people there, and also the lack of bus facilities is another issue that they are facing, and they really want the government and the public representative to address that issue. But when we talk about the old Mysuru region, there are even more local issues, because most of them come from the agrarian background, and there you see they really want the leaders to speak about the local issues, whether it's about the water supply or for the farmers that they're looking forward to various schemes that the government can give them and they can be benefited, and also for the crops and the grains that they really grow. They really want a good outcome of it when it comes to the profit margin for them. So those are the local issues that the party has to stress on. So in the old Mysuru region, you see the JDS is ensuring that they be very local in this region, because people want these issues to be addressed. In the Kalyan Karnataka region, meanwhile, that's something that needs to be addressed. Meanwhile, in the Bengaluru, the Bengalurians want these civic issues to be fixed and wants the safety to be safe for the people, for the commuters who move out again. And because you see majority of the taxpayers are from the IT city Bengaluru, there's a huge collection for the government as well from the city, and that's the reason why we see most of them coming out and complaining, saying that when you happen to collect so much of the taxes from the Bengalurians, why is there no equal work done for the people here? Why is there no safety for the people? Where, the pothole issues, the floods that the city continuously witnessed. So these are all the the issues that the city is facing. But they really want the government, any government that really going to come back, will come to the power. They want these issues to be addressed.
Okay, Ritu, hold on. Harish, you're back with us. You've been traveling the length and breadth of Karnataka. The last 15 days, have you analyzed the voters' mind? Do you see it changing from how it was when elections were announced to now?
Well, it definitely has changed. One, in the initial parts of late last month, we had seen the Congress really speaking and also ensuring that some of its promises, the 5 core promises that it has given, reach the last man, last woman in the village. Remember, in cities, it's easier for parties to ensure that their message reaches to the citizens and the voters, but in rural areas, it's their karyakartas who manage to do it. But over the last 8 to 10 days, if we analyze how the narrative has changed, the BJP believes that it has gained advantage for 2 reasons. One, obviously the roadshows of Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah, they believe that has gained some ground for them. Second, they also believe the whole Bajrang Dal ban controversy and the statements of Mallikarjun Kharge and Priyank Kharge has given ammunition to the BJP, and they sense that it could do 2 things. One, it has infused some enthusiasm into the cadres and the larger right-wing ecosystem in the state, who will go out and ensure that people come out and vote and campaign aggressively. Second, they also believe that this is, in a way, turned the entire focus away from the allegation that the Congress was making about Basuraj Bommai government, the alleged 40% Sarkara, or even the crumbling infrastructure in Bengaluru and the Lokayukta raid that had happened on a sitting BJP MLA. So the BJP believes that has gone to the background. The Congress says that already voters have decided, they've made up their mind. One, in fact, in one of their internal survey, the Congress says only 7% of the voters knew about the Bajrang Dal ban controversy, so that won't help much. And people already know the kind of performance of Basuraj Bommai government, and they will vote based on that. But 2-3 other factors that hasn't been spoken by both the parties and that could play a significant role is price rise, the price of LPG cylinders. These are issues that we heard when we went out to rural Karnataka. None of them spoke about any of the divisive issues or the communal issues that we had heard in the last year and a half, starting with hijab to halal and various other issues that we had heard. They did not speak about that. These issues were something that they also mentioned. And love and affection for Prime Minister Modi is something that we witnessed everywhere, not just in Bengaluru that you're seeing on your screens right now, but every place we went, there was respect for the Prime Minister. And the Congress local leadership, for that precise reason, didn't want any leaders coming in from Delhi to target Prime Minister Modi. They wanted this election to be solely based on Basuraj Bommai's government's performance. But for the Congress, it hasn't happened in the last week. They've done exactly the opposite.
Yes, and will that ultimately prove to be the clincher when voters make up their mind? Will this election remain a national election like the Prime Minister, like the Bharatiya Janata Party want? They've always, in election after election, sought vote in the name of the Prime Minister. Double engine ki sarkar, that the Prime Minister gives the guidance from Delhi, and the local representative, be it in Karnataka, be it in Gujarat, be it in Madhya Pradesh, only follows what the Prime Minister's broad idea is. That's the roadmap for BJP in every election, and that's the roadmap being followed right now also in this roadshow in Bengaluru. Congress, on the other hand, wanted this to be strictly local. And on that count, let me bring in Pallavi Ghosh also into the conversation. Pallavi, what's the insight from the Congress party? Is there a sense that in the last 7-8 days, they've kind of lost that peak that they had hit, and this roadshow by the Prime Minister could only damage them further?
I'm just going to tell you, give you a sense, because obviously the main area where the Prime Minister is doing the roadshow has been completely barricaded and it's out of bounds to the general public. To those who don't have the passes, well, this is the Sampige road, and this is where he is expected to complete his deep down over here. He's expected to complete his roadshow, which lasts around 26 kilometers, and today is just the first leg of that. Tomorrow morning is going to be the second part of his roadshow to Bengaluru. Look, the trump card of the BJP always has remained the Prime Minister. So there has been a shift in strategy. There was an initial feeling, even within the BJP camp, that there was an edge which the Congress Party was happening. The 40% commission Sarkara narrative, the fact that the people were looking for change. There seems to be a turnaround moment slightly, and that is with two things. One is inclusion of the ban of the Bajrang Dal as a part of the Congress manifesto, and second, of course, the Prime Minister's final push. He has been doing rallies across the state over the last few days. Today, after this mammoth roadshow in Bengaluru, he's going to go across to Badami and Hillary, and tomorrow, of course, again, he's going to be doing a roadshow as well in the capital city of Karnataka. So that does worry and make the Congress party a bit apprehensive. And if it hadn't, then I don't think the Congress would have gone a rethink of their strategy, because the Congress itself is now unleashing all the top leaders for the first time in a long, long time. Sonia Gandhi is actually doing a rally. She'll be doing that around 5:30 in Hubli along with Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi doing a press conference on Monday. No clarity yet whether Rahul Gandhi is going to be doing a roadshow yet, though that plan is still being finalized. But clearly the Congress party is trying to up its ante. Every day they come out with a corruption report card. Even today, a short while back around 9 a.m. an hour before the Prime Minister's roadshow was to begin, they came out with some audio recording claiming that there was an assassination threat on the Congress president coming in from a BJP MLA. So, these are the reactions which are really coming in from the Congress party, because they do understand that the Prime Minister can really be the swing factor.
Right. Pallavi, thank you so much for helping us understand. Most colleagues on the ground there get a sense after speaking to voters that they were, wanting a change, and perhaps there was some resonance as far as the corruption allegations were being made. But then came the decision of banning Bajrang Dal by the Congress party, and the Prime Minister, batting on the front foot in the slogovers, to use a cricket analogy. So will that finally change the voters' mind? Will it swing the voters of Karnataka? That's what BJP and Congress are looking out for. We will continue to focus on this. Just slipping into a very quick break, but stay right here for more political news.
Well, here you can see that the folk artists all here and the people are excited, chanting Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Will request my VJ to give you that frame and show you how people are here excited, and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi here that they are trying to get the capture that moment in the phone. So the excitement is in the air. Of course, this is an important roadshow that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is taking out. Remember, the PM had also tweeted about it before even starting this roadshow. But there you see now people all welcoming him in a grand manner. There is a huge crowd this time that we can really see in the IT city Bengaluru. Though this roadshow is taking place where the BJP has a strong hold, but of course this is also an attempt to make all attempt to also move the voters from the places, the assembly, the constituencies where the Congress is strong. But yes, there you see in the visual now the Prime Minister Narendra Modi waving his hand towards the people with a bright smile on his face, and there people all chanting and showering flower petals on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It's all Modi, Modi here. That's the kind of environment, the colorful environment that really one can see. They're all showering the petals and the chants. So that's the best moment that they're all capturing it in the phone. There you see Prime Minister Narendra Modi with a
So massive show of strength by the BJP in Bengaluru ahead of the Karnataka polls. PM Modi's roadshow has started, and as you can see on your screens right now, people are showering flower petals on Prime Minister Modi, and this is a massive show of strength by the BJP.
Welcome back. Our focus is still on Karnataka. The focus is on the capital of Karnataka, where the Prime Minister is trying to swing the voters' mind in favor of the BJP, or tell them once again to give BJP a second chance. His roadshow is now beyond the halfway mark. This is the final leg of campaigning that is happening in Karnataka, which votes this week, and then the counting day will tell us on the 13th as to what really is in the mind of the Karnataka voter. Are they looking for continuity, or are they looking for change? Bharatiya Janata Party definitely hopes that it is continuity that is on mind of voters in Bengaluru. Let's dip in to that audio that is coming in from the Prime Minister's roadshow. He's carrying on this 26-kilometer journey. A lot of enthusiasm. Ritu and Harish both tracking this story. Ritu, how far has the Prime Minister's cavalcade reached? How many more kilometers to go?
Well, you see, now what we do know that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached in Jayanagar, which is again the stronghold of the Congress, where the Soumya Reddy is the present MLA, and now there's also a stiff competition there again between both BJP as well as the Congress. So there he is, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi waving his hand towards the people all trying to get those glimpse of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, also capturing their best moment in the phones and all that. You see the flower petals also in their hands. So that's the kind of enthusiasm that we're getting to see in the people this time in the IT city Bengaluru, where they're all giving a grand welcome to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But it's really interesting that to see how many people have literally waited for him since 6:30 a.m. To just see him. And there you see the PM with a bright smile waving his hand towards the people, and people with the pictures also with the face masks and chanting Modi Modi. So this is the kind of excitement in the air that we really getting to see in this roadshow, where of course we have seen how much of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi factor has worked for the BJP, and this time again the party leaders are having a high hope that he as the star campaigner will really work for them, and that the kind of anti-incumbency that they're also the party is also facing this time in the city. So this is all that we're getting to see at this point in time in this mega roadshow of Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Harish, I see a lot of flags there with Bajrangbali's face on it, and in fact some people have dressed up as Lord Hanuman as well. So is the Bajrang Dal ban, the issue of Bajrangbali, still hot in the Bengaluru campaign trail?
Well, the BJP wants to keep the issue going. Remember, the Prime Minister was quick to seize the opportunity. Just 2 hours after that addition of Bajrang Dal ban in the manifesto, the Prime Minister, who was addressing the crowd in Karnataka, called out Bajrang Bali, and he said every time you go out and vote, vote in the name of Bajrang Bali. That was the call that he gave. And it's also a significant push because Bajrang Bali is not what Lord is known in Karnataka. Anjaneya is the name that Kannadiga has used. But the party, going by what the Prime Minister has said, and have decided to ensure that it's in the campaign elements that are put out by the party, and it's there online, offline, everywhere. And the party understands that it will do 2 things. One, it will ensure that the Karyakartas find a larger cause, because within the party there was a feeling that there was not enough enthusiasm among the Karyakartas because of the performance of the government. But now there is a larger cause of Hindutva that the Karyakartas have to fight. There's a larger enemy in Congress and Siddaramaiah. Right. And this, the BJP believes, is a turning point in the election.
Harish, I'm glad you mentioned about the difference between how Kannadigas call Bajrang Bali and how the Hindi-speaking or the North Indian belt refers to him. But is this roadshow also an attempt to encash on the cosmopolitan character of Bengaluru? There would be a lot of voters who have come from other parts of the country and made Bengaluru their home.
Well, absolutely. Perhaps there's a very significant chunk of voters from outside Bengaluru and outside Karnataka as well. And some of these regions that the Prime Minister will be passing through today and tomorrow is the same precise region. For example, JP Nagar, although is one of the planned localities of Bengaluru, it has a significant population from North India. Similarly, tomorrow he's starting from New Tipasandra area. That is another area that has a lot of crowd from the startup ecosystem who have come from various parts of India. So the BJP wants to ensure that this election, which is largely fought on local issues and about the performance of Bommai government, also has the crowd that is coming in from outside Karnataka, voting, looking at the face of Prime Minister Modi. And that's been the effort by the BJP and the local leaders of the BJP here, who've been going, asking for votes. You look at Jayanagar, Baswangudi area, these are areas that traditionally will have a lot of native residents, but the BJP understanding for them to win this election conclusively and win it in Bengaluru also, they will have to ensure that they get both votes, the native residents as well as voters who come from outside Karnataka, outside Bengaluru and settle here in these constituencies.
Right. Pallavi, if you're there with us, also help me understand, we're counting down to the last few hours before campaigning ends. Have you seen some kind of lack of enthusiasm, especially amongst the cosmopolitan, the urban voters, as has been the trademark in election after election, be it South Delhi, be it South Bombay?
You know, it is interesting, and also the irony, and just to add on to what my colleagues were saying, the problem with Bengaluru is that there are usual complaints which are there in capital cities or big cities, or for example, potholes, lack of infrastructural facilities. But I think one of the biggest grudges which politicians do have against the Bengalurians also is the apathy, the vote percentage. And this is not true only of Bengaluru. I think it's true of almost every capital of big city. We see that in Delhi and Mumbai. But I have been speaking to many of the people over here. They tell me that yes, we do complain a lot, but the fact is also that many of the factors don't even go out to vote. There are two target areas with any political go out and vote. Where the opposition is kind of a vote to hold the politicians accountable. That large number of black first-time voters is also in that community, and I gathered they are interested because vote.
Pallavi, your audio isn't very clear. We'll try and patch you again, maybe because you're in that location where there's a lot of ambient sound as well. But Harish, do you want to come in on that, what Pallavi was explaining to us as far as voter apathy, especially voters who could be the traditional supporters of the Bharatiya Janata Party? If they don't come out and vote, it's double whammy. This roadshow also targeted at those people?
Absolutely. If you look at the voting pattern in Karnataka in 2013, it was around 58%. Then it reached around 51-52%. There are areas which have seen only around 45% voting in the last election in 2018. The election commission is worried about it. They've ensured that the process of enrollment or even getting the voter ID card becomes much easier. They've also said the reason why we have scheduled this election on Wednesday is to ensure that nobody takes a couple of days leave and goes on an extended holiday. The EC has been on an overdrive reaching out to resident welfare associations, ensuring that the voting percentage can go up. The BJP also believes that the kind of support that it enjoys on social media, on YouTube and Twitter, every other place, needs to translate into actual votes at the polling booth. And for that to happen, they are asking people not to be just keypad warriors. They need to come out and vote. That's been the message from all political parties, more so from the BJP, which believes that some of their voters don't turn up at the polling booth, and that could hit their chances. And this time round, the Karyakartas have been told very clearly that at least in the first few hours of voting on polling day, they need to go house to house requesting people to come and vote. They can't campaign, but definitely ensure that people come and vote on that day.
Okay, Pallavi is back with us. Pallavi, sorry, we lost your line then. You were telling us about your experience in the last fortnight or so as far as voters' enthusiasm is concerned.
So I did chat up with some of the walkers in Cubbon Park, which of course is one of the biggest and at the heart of Bengaluru, and they do admit to me that, we do complain a lot. We have our usual complaints about infrastructural facilities not being well equipped, but also an admission that, we don't often go out and vote. In fact, I did meet one young girl who could have been a first-time voter, and she said, I don't think I'm going to go out and vote. I think the Election Commission's entire campaign has been on that big cities. Rural areas are usually not much of a problem. In rural areas, you do find a voter enthusiasm even more. This is a problem typical of big cities across the country. They don't go out and vote. I think that's the challenge which BJP, Congress, and of course JDS to a certain extent also faces. As they were pointing out, the BJP leaders have certainly been asked to ensure that their workers go and get all the voters to the booth. And what the BJP is hoping for is that more and more of the core voters turn up at the voting booth and vote for them. The Congress certainly would want a large number of voter turnout because for them it will signal a change when you're angry, the presumption is that, or you want to change the system, the presumption is that a large number of voters also go out. That's the presumption that the Congress party is working on. So I think in the last two legs, and especially after the campaign is over on Monday, the real work is going to be for the next 2 days, 9th and 10th, 9th basically, because people voting, is to go door to door, to activate your cadre, to ensure that the voters come to the polling booth and cast their vote. Big cities have their huge, big problems. I think when the Prime Minister is through the roadshow and going to the heart of, and the youth we have been putting out, I think the point that I'm messaging he's trying to send out not just today but also tomorrow is likely to be accompanied by Finance Minister Narendra Modi as well, is what we have been told. In all of that, the message going on is a double engine Sarkar work. We can rapidly at the state level. There will be no, kind of hiccup. There will be no kind of delay as far as, the implementation of the central scheme is concerned.
Harish, I also see, one of the easily recognizable faces is that of Tejasvi Surya on that truck with the Prime Ministers. How much of a factor is the local MLA or the local MP's performance when these voters go out and decide whether to vote for the BJP or the Congress? BJP definitely will hope that the voters only thinks of the Prime Minister and nobody else. Harish?
Well, if you look at how Bengaluru has traditionally voted, at least 16 of these current sitting MLAs have won since 2018. And it's reached a point in Bengaluru where you have multiple constituencies, where you have MLAs who've represented that constituency for 4 or 5 times, or even someone like Ramlinga Reddy since the early 90s. And they've ensured 2 things. One, that there's no second-rung leadership within their own party in that constituency. Second, that there is no leadership from the opposition parties as well, which has meant that over the last few decades, at least over the last 2 decades, we have seen some of these MLAs not getting affected by anything, whether it's the performance of the current government, whether they're part of the government or in the opposition, the kind of infrastructure in their constituency, or who comes and campaigns. You look at the names like Ramlinga Reddy, Dinesh Gundurao, all these people from the Congress, or names from the BJP, like Ravi Subramania of the Baswangudi area, or other areas that the BJP is holding very strong, someone like S.R. Vishwanath in Yelanka. These are constituencies where the MLA is winning irrespective of the performance, their performance, or the party's performance, or the state's performance while being in the state government. So that's the reason many believe that it would be very difficult to change numbers in Bengaluru. There are only 5 or 6 constituencies where we might see a change, but rest all the existing sitting MLAs will manage to win, and the parties might not have too much in terms of seat difference between the BJP and the Congress. It's just 3 or 4 seats difference between them, and that is not seen as a huge gain. Even when you talk to some BJP leaders in Bengaluru, they are saying our aim is to get at least 18 seats. Nobody is really talking about sweeping Bengaluru because all of them understand that would be very difficult in the existing scenario. There's also allegation against all the leaders of Bengaluru from all 3 parties that there is adjustment politics going on. All these senior leaders ensure that nobody comes to their constituency. At the same time, they have a tacit understanding with the leader in the neighboring constituency from a different party that nobody from their party will go or come up as a challenger there. So this is something that Amit Shah and others have mentioned in multiple meetings, that this adjustment politics needs to come to an end. But that doesn't seem to have happened, at least in this election.
Neetu, Harish, Pallavi, all 3 are keeping a very close eye as this cavalcade moves of the Prime Minister. I think 1 more hour to go before he calls it a day. Pallavi, if you're still there, the Prime Minister's cavalcade is having a smooth sail. But not every Bengaluru resident would think of roads of the capital city without traffic. Is traffic also on the minds of the voters? Infrastructure, road conditions?
Yeah, very much so. In fact, frankly speaking, I'm traveling through the city and trying to catch up the spot where the Prime Minister is going to be ending his roadshow and in and around the area. So actually, considering that it's a high security zone, that there are several restrictions in place, security passes have been issued, the traffic more or less is actually quite smooth. So people are able to go and do their chores. Today, of course, being a Saturday, Sunday, over the weekend, of course, that's the day which has been chosen for the roadshow, so as to give minimal problem and inconvenience the people. Also, tomorrow is a NEET exam. That's also a reason why they have restructured or reworked their routes. But traffic woes is certainly something which is very typical of Bengaluru. People have often spoken about it. Potholes under construction, major traffic signals. Again, when I did speak to many people over here, they would often talk about the fact that what should ideally take maximum 15 to 20 minutes in a peak traffic time, office hours, it's a nightmare for us to travel. The Namma Metro was actually showcased by the BJP and the state government as one of the efforts being made to ease the traffic. But given the structure of the city, Namma Metro has not been completely able to ease the traffic signals, which we still get to see when we travel to the city. Somewhat it has managed to, but this is also one of the sole promises in the manifestos of both the Congress and the BJP. I think both the political parties do understand that this is something which unnerves the Bengalurians, which is why in the manifesto they actually specifically mentioned the need to ease up of traffic, to make it easier for the commuters to travel, and also how to speed up, modern convenience fares, for example, again speeding up the metro, more stops, more lines, metro lines, and so on and so forth. So these are going to be the typical issues on which people vote for. But I wonder whether it's going to be strong enough and it's going to drive the people strong enough to see where they actually go out and step out of the house and cast their vote. Very quickly, voting day falls on a weekday, and many people may want to use that advantage of taking a holiday. And there have been efforts being made by the Election Commission, politicians, to tell the Bengalurians that if you really want to change things, you really have to step out and cast your vote.
Harish, when you speak to family, friends, colleagues or staff members in our office, is traffic something on their mind? Traffic, water, sewage, electricity, is this flying on the mind of the voter, or are they looking at the big picture? Vishwaguru, China, Pakistan, national security?
Well, we've had multiple interactions, whether it's on camera or off camera. We've had interaction with the IT crowd. We've done a huge interaction with the startup world. All of them talking about two significant things. One is the terrible infrastructure here. Second, the traffic. We were talking to a few people in a startup, and there were people who said startup is restricted to two pockets in Bengaluru. Probably the Kormangala HSR pocket, and the other is near the outer ring road, near Bannerghatta road. And they are saying some of us come from North Bengaluru, the other side of the city, and it takes us at least 90 minutes one way. And they are saying that if you're spending 3 hours traveling in a day, it really hits our quality of life. They are saying, one, the roads are bad. Second, there is no mass transit system. The metro network hasn't expanded at the rate that it should have ideally done. And the bus infrastructure also has taken a beating that the government hasn't introduced new bus. The fleet is stagnant around 5,000 buses. That is terribly short for a population of 1.2 crore people. And at least 45% of the road transport used to be handled by the BMTC. That has gone down to 36%. So people are saying that these are issues that really matter to us, and none of them ever mentioned the national issues. They said our life needs to get better, which means these simple things: ensuring there are smooth roads, there's better connectivity, traffic pileup comes down. These are issues that will change their life significantly. If someone is traveling 3 hours in a day, imagine that comes down to 1 hour. That's a huge boost for them, which means they get 2 hours to do other things. And in a city like Bengaluru, where everyone is working either in the IT hub or in a startup, or even, remember, at least 4-5 lakh people working in the garment industry, all of them believe that 2 hours could really change their life or the quality of their life.
Pallavi, you've covered West Bengal elections and now you're covering Karnataka. I remember West Bengal election campaign also started off, okay, I think I've lost that line with Pallavi. I'll try and get that perspective back with her. Is Ritu available? Can I go to her? Or Harish, maybe you can help me understand this. Overall, this road show is also trying to tap into this sense of double engine sarkar, that if you vote for any other party other than the BJP, the benefits that you could get because both the central and the state government are on the same page, you will miss out on those benefits. Is that consciously being told to the voters?
Well, that's being said, and this is not the first time that it's being said. The UPA said it in 2013 when the assembly elections happened and they were in power. The BJP has said it in 2018. Probably double engine is not the phrase that they use. They used other words, saying that it's better to have the same party at the state and the center. But if you look at the pattern of voting in Karnataka, people haven't really bought that idea. They have traditionally voted differently in assembly elections and in Lok Sabha elections. Although in most cases that has been just a year apart. Look at 2013. They gave a clear mandate to the Congress party. But in 2014, the BJP managed to gain significant seats in the Lok Sabha election. 2018, we saw hung assembly. The BJP got only 104 seats. 2019, despite the JDS Congress government being in Karnataka, the BJP managed to sweep Karnataka and win 25 out of the 28 seats. So the people traditionally here have made the distinction very clear that they will vote differently in Assembly and Lok Sabha election. If the BJP manages to change it around this time, then that would be a paradigm shift in how Karnataka has voted and how they will vote in future.
Right. Ritu is also back with me on the phone line. Ritu, overall, the sense that you're picking up as this rally is moving beyond the halfway mark.
Well, you see, even as Prime Minister Narendra Modi is now passing on the Bull Temple Road, where again you can see there are a lot of BJP supporters have gathered there, public there, all excited to see Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But of course, as Harish and Pallavi Ghosh is pointing out, that there's a lot that this time the Prime Minister Narendra Modi factor might work for the BJP is seen as the one point that this time in the Bengaluru. But of course, there again, as said, the public all gathering in the huge number. They are moving from one location to the location where the Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be. So that's the level of excitement that really one can see right now.
Right, Tushar Gupta is also with me on the broadcast. Tushar, overall there seems to be a lot of enthusiasm and Prime Minister has always been a crowd puller. But will this crowd translate into votes? Colleagues seem to be indicating there's a lot of voter apathy, as is typical of urban pockets in India.
Well, I can't help but recall the roadshow the Prime Minister held in Ahmedabad a week ahead of the Gujarat elections. And we all were wondering back then if the tally will cross 135 seats, but the Modi roadshow aided it to 150. Now, Karnataka is a very close competition. It has seen a lot of issues coming up in the last 1 week, starting from the issue of banning Bajrang Dal to whatnot. Now, the PM's roadshow, the PM's campaign since the last 8-9 years has always been a tipping point. If there are fence-sitters, that is where they get convinced if they want to vote for the BJP or not. Today, when the Karnataka election is such close contest, we really don't know. Even the forecasters do not know the real numbers or what will happen on the ground. And there are at least 50 seats where there could be a voting difference margin of at least 500 votes. This roadshow becomes very important. The enthusiasm should also be looked upon factoring in the elections of 2024. Even if, let's say, BJP ends up with 90-95 odd seats and Congress gets to form the government, it's a huge signal towards the state or the people of Bangalore feel about the Prime Minister and his candidature for 2024 as well. So as it has always been the case, the Prime Minister enters into the fray whenever the close contests are there, and his presence is always a tipping point in the favor of the BJP.
Right, so will this prove to be the game changer? Will it be the tipping point? The Bharatiya Janata Party definitely hopes so. But Tushar, you don't think the allegations against the Bombay government that have been made by the Congress Party, allegations of corruption, allegations of mismanagement, some voters they are complaining about lack of infrastructure, traffic woes of Bengaluru. You think the Prime Minister talking about his own, the goodwill that he carries and his own governance, that will make voters forget about what they are facing as far as local governance is concerned?
Look, anyone who's even spent 5 minutes in Bangalore, I won't even say 5 days, just 5 minutes, understands the kind of traffic woes that are there. But what was the urban development, especially in terms of construction that was going on in Bangalore? It was very, very slow. Now, I want to rule out that there have been problems with the current BJP government in Karnataka. People have leveled allegations about corruption. People have leveled allegations about the slow movement in infrastructure development. But you cannot rule out that BJP is probably the best bet today Karnataka has. Where is the JDS? It's looking at itself as a role of a kingmaker. The Congress looks in a disarray after their recent manifesto release. So while one cannot deny that there have been problems in the current government, as it is with any other government or any other incumbent, the BJP would want to bet again. They would want to be in the fray. They would want to win the trust of the people of Karnataka once again. And that is why this roadshow is important.
So then if we are talking or accepting that there could be some issues with local governance there, what is it that the Prime Minister is bringing to the table which could convince the voters that what was the mistake made last time around won't be made this time?
Look, one is, of course, the PM's stature. His entire stature and his personality is around which the BJP revolves. Now, is that right or wrong is a debate for another day. But it is his stature, his stability, his double engine ki sarkar promise that he gets to the table. Now, of course, the Congress wanted the election to be very localized. They wanted to keep it to the local issues. But you cannot rule out that the Prime Minister's presence, even in a northeastern state, even in a South Indian state where the BJP may not have great prospects, say Tamil Nadu or Telangana, is essentially important for the BJP. So today what the Prime Minister brings? A promise of double engine ki sarkar, a promise of stability, a promise of strength.
Right. This might be a very small pocket of voters, but there are voters from northeastern part of the country in Bengaluru in urban centres. The student union, which comes from Manipur, has also issued statements about what is happening there. Congress was quick to encash on this, that why is the Prime Minister here when Manipur's situation is so bad, when in Rajouri we have lost our Jawans. Do you think on the voters' mind these issues make any difference?
Look, there are serious issues going on in Manipur and we all are worried. The Indian Army is carrying out an operation in Rajouri this morning. So, of course, the Prime Minister has plenty of things to deal with on his plate. But I don't think that will play out a big factor in the upcoming elections when Karnataka votes on May 10. However, you know, this was the same discussion we had during Gujarat, that Ahmedabad is a small pocket of voters. Will that impact the overall state? But in hindsight, it did. From 130 odd, it went to 150 odd. Now, I'm not saying that necessarily that is what will happen in Karnataka, but that is the intent with which the Prime Minister gets on the streets. He wants to interact with the voters. He wants to talk to the voters. This morning on social media, a lot of my friends who have been telling me about the cavalcade passing through before their houses, they're all geared up for the rally. So, of course, there is excitement, there is enthusiasm. And while it may be just a small pocket of voters, or rather a small pocket of Bangalore, not even the state, the excitement will, spill over to the entire state come May 10th.
Right, Tushar, thank you so much. Pallavi Ghosh is also there on the ground. She's been tracking the Karnataka elections for the last 2 weeks or so. Pallavi, BJP, of course, is watching this very closely, but so must be the opposition. Anything that they have to say about the feedback that Prime Minister's roadshow is getting? Anything that you have heard from Congress, JDS?
I'm just going to try and walk around and get you a sense of the road which is leading up to the spot where the Prime Minister is going to be going through in a short while from now. As you can see, this entire area has been barricaded. Of course, people are allowed to walk up on their foot. You can see some BJP flags also, and clearly party Karyakarta is also there. Apart from that, the police, of course, is there. High security area, but naturally the Prime Minister is there. Posters and banners, all of them has been put up. You know, we've been talking since morning about the voter apathy, but I think the last 24 to 48 hours becomes extremely critical whenever we talk about campaign. I mean, many an election which we have covered, we've seen the swing factor actually change in the last 48 hours. We saw it during the Lok Sabha elections, we see it in the state elections. Any one comment, any loose comment can actually swing the entire voter mentality or psyche and the choice that they make. So, but I do see a large number of people, if you can see over here near the barricade, where obviously they've gathered here to get a glimpse of the Prime Minister. For the BJP, the Prime Minister remains the trump card, and the BJP certainly is going to be using their trump card in the last leg up. What is the message which the Prime Minister gives that gets along with him? One, of course, is the double engine ki sarkar, that whatever development schemes we talk about at the centre, we are also going to bring her at the state level. There are going to be no federal hiccups if the same party is in power in both the states. That is something which is going to facilitate and smooth. And second, we were also talking about traffic being a huge nightmare in Bengaluru. The Namma Metro, and in fact, you can see the metro line which is just going up over there. That's Namma Metro, your metro. That's also been one of the key slogans of the BJP in terms of the development that they have got into a city of Bengaluru. Before toss back to you, you can see those pictures at the barricade spot. Prime Minister's hoardings, posters being put up. And of course, people are already gathering here. You can see Naveen Bansal is showing some of the pictures to you. Behind the barricade, because there are traffic restrictions, people are standing here, hopefully to get a glimpse of the Prime Minister's cavalcade.
Right. Pallavi Ghosh, Harish Upadhyay, Ritu, thank you so much. Coming back to you for more on what the voter in Bengaluru, what the voter in Karnataka is really thinking. Prime Minister's roadshow moves ahead. I'm just slipping in for a quick break, but news and updates will continue. Keep watching CNN News.
roadshow in Bengaluru, and he will be holding it tomorrow as well. Today he will be covering a distance of 26 kilometers, whereas tomorrow he will be covering a distance of 10 kilometers. Our senior editor Pallavi Ghosh is with us. Pallavi, what do you think this roadshow will have an impact, a mega impact on the BJP's campaign trail ahead of the upcoming elections?
Jury's still out on that, but I think the BJP realizes that their trump card, of course, happens to be the Prime Minister, which is why with just 2 days left to go for campaigning in the state, which ends on Monday, they're using the trump card as much as they can. And this is going to be 2 days of mega roadshow by the Prime Minister. Today, almost 26 kilometers through the heart of Bengaluru. Tomorrow, for a couple of hours, lots of people will be there early morning, afternoon. From here, the Prime Minister, after a roadshow ends around 1:30, is actually going to be addressing 2 rallies in Bedami and Bengaluru areas. So clearly, the BJP realizes that the last few days, just as any political party does, the last few days becomes always very, very critical in deciding factor. So the Prime Minister's image, the talk about the double engine ki sarkar, that a party in power at the state is the same at the center, it's easier to replicate the schemes of the government of the center at the state level. That exactly is a pitch of the Prime Minister. We can see those pictures, Anjali, of the Prime Minister going through a mega roadshow. There are people thanking him on both the sides. A large number of people, of course, who have turned up, party workers, people in Bengaluru. Today also happens to be a weekend. So that's why that day also has been carefully chosen so as not to inconvenience the people. And you can see those pictures, people are come here to gather as he passes through the most important heart of Bengaluru. He's going to go to...
Good afternoon. You're watching CNN News 18. I'm Arunima. Karnataka polls have now entered their last leg of campaigning, and Prime Minister, on behalf of the Bharatiya Janata Party, is doing a mega roadshow in Bengaluru, hoping to convince those who are fence-sitters and reiterate those who have BJP's plea to those who have already made up their mind to vote for the Bharatiya Janata Party. This roadshow has been on for more than an hour now. I think it's now entering its last leg. A lot of voter enthusiasm throughout the roadshow. People have gathered to click selfies, click photographs, just to get a glimpse of the Prime Minister. And capturing that entire mood are my colleagues Ritu, Harish and Pallavi. Pallavi, in fact, is joining us live on the broadcast. Pallavi, you managed to traverse through what is often called a traffic snarled roads of Bengaluru and come to the point where the Prime Minister is expected to reach shortly. Help us understand what is the significance of this roadshow that the Prime Minister is undertaking.
So what Ritu has been talking about, that the Prime Minister has just crossed the Bull Road, and we are at where we are standing is the Malleshwaram Road, again one of the core areas of Bengaluru. This is also where the BJP office also happens to be, and I'm just getting a track if you're getting those pictures of the route which has been taken and will be taken by the Prime Minister. The police, of course, over here tells me it's going to be largely around an hour or so when he's expected to reach here, and this is almost the last bit, and towards the end of the roadshow he goes to one other spot after this. But you can see people are standing up on the other side of the barricade, and despite the fact that it's a weekend, clearly people have gathered here to get a glimpse. I don't know if you're getting those pictures, Arunima, of people waving, clearly waiting to see that the Prime Minister goes through this area. Posters, of course, of the Home Minister and, of course, the Prime Minister. The Ambedkar statue was also just right behind us a short while back. But, clearly you can see posters and hoardings of Ambedkar also being put up over here. OBC, Dalit, that's one of the key vote banks which the BJP, the Congress, all of them are trying to target. Total barricading of this area, obviously, because of security concerns, yet every attempt being made to ensure that the commuters don't get inconvenienced. So sporadically, you see the traffic moving around over here. So the Prime Minister getting that message from the centre that this is one government, one Sarkara, and also a vote for the BJP means a vote for development.
Once the Prime Minister reaches this spot, Pallavi, where you are, his engagements for the day will end, or is there any public address, public engagement that will happen?
So So according to a schedule which has been given to us, he's expected to end his roadshow in Bengaluru roughly around 12:30. And after that at 2 o'clock is his next rally, which is in Badami, which was around 300 kilometers from here. And he wraps up with yet another rally at the end of the day, which is in Helaru also. So it's a packed schedule certainly for the Prime Minister. He came to Bengaluru late last night. In fact, he tweeted also the fact that he arrived over here in Bengaluru. So a packed schedule today, tomorrow morning for roughly 2 to 3 hours also. He's expected to do a very, very short road show in Bengaluru. That route is also being chalked out. See, tomorrow is also the NEET exam. So I think that's one of the main reasons which the BJP mentioned in the press conference is why we have reworked our schedule. The next 2 days would become critical. Monday is when would be the last day of campaigning. Not just the BJP, even the Congress party, for example, is actually speeding up its campaign and to ensure that the last leg advantage goes to them.
Well, as I see the visuals of the roadshow from Bengaluru, Pallavi, I'm reminded of the Varanasi roadshow also, where the Prime Minister, threw a surprise, came out of the vehicle and started accepting garlands and whatever offerings some of the bystanders had. Any such surprise that you're expecting? Perhaps he could swing by one of those famous dosa stalls as well.
Well, knowing the Prime Minister, I wouldn't be too surprised at all. I mean, you're right. I mean, suddenly impromptu getting down or interacting with the people, or a small leg or a small portion of the roadshow actually on foot where he would want to interact with the women. I do see a large number of women also who have gathered over here. It's interesting that of the 224 constituencies, in more than 50% constituencies, there are more women voters than male voters. That's also the vote bank which both the BJP and the Congress party are trying to tap. The Prime Minister and the BJP particularly have been quite popular as far as the women vote bank is concerned. So clearly the Prime Minister is going to tap up on that. Interesting to see whether in the Malleshwaram area where I'm standing at this point of time, which is just one spot away from the ending spot of the roadshow of the Prime Minister, 26 kilometers, whether he'll actually get down and interact with the women who have gathered over here. I don't know if you're getting to see those pictures, but the pictures, I think, tell the story. Young women, there are lots of first-time voters also among them. I can see clearly wanting to see what the Prime Minister is going to do over here.
It's very interesting, Pallavi, that you're showing us the enthusiasm amongst the women voters, because our colleague Rohini Swami actually has filed the story on our website news18.com, which says that in 66 years, Bengaluru has got just 7 women MLAs. I mean, if you get a chance, maybe you can ask these women voters, is that something they would want changed? Is that something that the Prime Minister would address?
Yes, I would try to get those voices also in a bit, Arunima. As you understand, this entire area has been completely barricaded. Language, of course, remains a very huge issue here. But, despite the fact that Bengaluru is a cosmopolitan culture, I'm going to try and get those voices in a bit. But, in election after election, we have seen that the woman vote bank is something which is being targeted. Let me just try and talk to these two young women just to get a sense of what they feel. You come to see the roadshow of the Prime Minister. Yeah. Okay. So this time round, the Prime Minister, the BJP, every political party puts a lot of stress on women voters. Do you think women issues are actually reflected well enough by the political party, or is just talk? No, tell me.
We want to go there.
No, I know you want to go there, but for example, more than 50% of the voters over here are actually women. I'm talking about across the greater Karnataka. Political parties don't give that many tickets to women candidates. Would you want that to change? You would want more women to come into politics?
Definitely.
Yes? Why do you think they would make a change?
It's about women empowerment. It will be good if women take part in politics.
Okay, so it's about women empowerment. You also think so?
Yeah, same.
Okay, I'm going to let you go because I know the police is going to have those security reasons. But those two voices, I think, captures, Arunima, about what essentially is going to be the buzzword as far as the BJP and both the Congress are concerned. As Rohini had written in her report, and something which we saw also on the ground, and not just in Karnataka, but in election after election. Every political party talks about women empowerment, but at the end of the day, when they want to go and cast, they give tickets, is usually done on the basis of what they think is winnability. And the change really has to begin right from bottom to top. That winnability factor is the reason why not many women candidates actually are getting the tickets. And this, I think, Karnataka shows that story very much. Despite the fact that more than 50% areas show more women voters and male voters, we don't have that many candidates being put up either by the BJP or by the Congress.
Yeah, Pallavi, thank you. Do hold on. Harish Upadhyay is also with us on the broadcast. Harish, overall, is the Prime Minister's roadshow on track? Pallavi was telling us 12:30 is expected to end. Behind schedule, on schedule?
It's slightly behind schedule, probably because the kind of crowd turnout that is there. The convoy can't really skip any stretch or go fast on any stretch. And as you can see, it's going at a steady pace right now. And it's crossed the entire Ramakrishna Ashram circle and probably somewhere in Chamrajpet right now. And remember, it will then head on to Basveshwar Nagar and then end near Sankey Tank, that's in Malleshwaram constituency, another stronghold of the BJP. Possibly by 12:45, is when this roadshow might end, is what we are guessing, looking at where the convoy is right now and the pace at which it's passing. The area that it's passing right now, the Chamrajpet area, is an interesting one. It's a stronghold of the Congress. It has a significant Muslim population. The BJP has won this seat only once in the 90s when Pramila Nesagi won that seat. After that, the Congress has held this seat. One of its Muslim faces, Zamir Ahmad Khan, is the MLA from here. He's a popular candidate and a popular MLA, and the Congress once again fielding him from here. The BJP was hoping that former police commissioner of Bengaluru, Bhaskar Rao, can dent the Congress' chances, but going by how the campaign has gone so far, that doesn't seem to be the case. They would be hoping that this convoy of the Prime Minister, this roadshow of the Prime Minister passing through Chamrajpet area could give them some extra vote share in this constituency. Also remember, over the last year or so, the constituency has seen a couple of issues. We've had the entire Idgah Maidan controversy. One of it in Hubli, the other one in Bengaluru is in this constituency in Chamrajpet. The government finally ensuring that there could be a flag hoisting at the Idgah Maidan. That has happened. Although the ownership debate is still open, it's in the court. But the BJP hoping some of these issues would bring some votes in its favor, but the Congress saying that we are safe in Chamrajpet. The BJP probably hoping that the Prime Minister can ensure that his charm works here.
You know, as we're speaking, Harish, I think all the print photographers there got their lead photograph for the day. Prime Minister crossing, and in the backdrop, a huge statue of Lord Hanuman. That, I think, is something that the BJP want to dominate as far as the minds of the voters in Karnataka is concerned.
Well, absolutely. As I mentioned, just a couple of hours after the Congress proposing a ban on Bajrang Dal in its manifesto, the Prime Minister was very quick raking that issue up in his speech in Karnataka. And after that as well, he's mentioned it at multiple places, saying that this is the land, Punya Bhumi of Hanuman. And here you have the Congress proposing to ban an organization that chants Hanuman's name. And several leaders of the Congress party have pointed it out. They tried multiple protests as well on social media and offline on ground. The BJP wants to keep the momentum going, but many within the party also quick to indicate that yes, it's one issue, it could be a turning point, but they are also seeing if that momentum can be kept till the 10th of this month. And they're also saying that there could be other issues that will crop up, and the BJP would be waiting for it to respond appropriately to encash on it. And we've seen at least in the three issues that have come up in the last 8 to 10 days, whether it's the Mallikarjun Kharge's statement calling the Prime Minister a poisonous snake, or his son, Mallikarjun Kharge's son, Priyank Kharge, calling the Prime Minister a useless son, or even the Bajrang Dal ban issue, the BJP has responded quickly, has encashed on it. How much of it will turn into votes is something that we'll get to know on the 13th. But the Congress hoping at least in the last couple of days, this narrative can be pulled back to local issues.
Are the voters actually buying that narrative? 92 abusers is what the Prime Minister said. The Congress today tweeted back saying, this is the 93rd one. So Congress is not backing off. But what is the voter thinking on as far as these allegations are concerned?
Well, there are two groups of people or voters, what we have seen so far. Yes, there is a lot that is aware of these issues, what's going on in the media, the headlines. But there's also a significant lot, especially in rural Karnataka. When we spoke to them, for them, other issues really matter. What is the government offering them? What are the other parties offering them? They're talking about price rise. They're talking about, some of them have spoken about how, yes, there is PM Kisan. but the state government and the revenue department here hasn't ensured there are proper RTCs, which means they lose out on not getting PM Kisan funds, and they are saying that that hasn't happened. So there's a lot of loopholes there. They are looking at how parties are promising to fill in. There is also talk about whether the Congress's promise of giving 200 units of electricity free to every household, will it click in Bengaluru? Because remember, if it's 200 units, then a significant chunk of the urban population also benefits, because if you take a average middle class house, probably they could be using only around 200 units of electricity. So the Congress is hoping that that works in their favor, just like how it did for the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi.
Right. So the Aam Aadmi Party shadow is visible in Karnataka elections. But does that party have any pocket, any standing in Karnataka polls?
Well, absolutely none. Perhaps in most constituencies, they would be losing their deposit. Probably in one constituency of Roan, there might be a stiff challenge that the Aam Aadmi will put up. That's only because of the candidate there. He's a locally popular man. But in terms of the party getting significant vote share, that looks very bleak. No candidate who can really come out and say that he's posing a stiff challenge to the contender there.
Right. So Harish, they're giving us the analysis on the ground. Pallavi also with us, helping us understand what the voters are thinking. As far as the weather goes, Harish, is that a factor as well in the way the election campaigning is going on?
Yes, especially in Bangalore the last few days, it has been raining in the evening. Remember, one roadshow of Home Minister Amit Shah had to be cancelled in Devnali after the roads got waterlogged. Even today, it's slightly overcast in Bengaluru, but the BJP is hoping that it will hold up at least for the next 45 minutes, 1 hour, post which they can go out with the campaign. But the sun and the heat has been an issue in large parts of Kalyan, Karnataka, Kittur, Karnataka region. The temperature crossing 30 at multiple places. Although there has been rain, the increasing temperature has really given a beating to several leaders that we have seen. In fact, we saw even Siddaramaiah struggling in one campaign. Then he said the issue was with the car, not the heat. But all political leaders accepting that it was a daunting task to carry on campaigning with the kind of heat that North Karnataka, Kalyan Karnataka is witnessing.
Right, we're watching as the Prime Minister's cavalcade inches ahead. It was supposed to end at around 12:30, could be behind schedule by a couple of minutes. But Harish, could we see any surprise being pulled out? The Prime Minister getting out of the car, maybe shaking hands or walking up to the supporters there?
Arunima, I think one surprise would be a temple visit. There is a temple that has been checked by the SPC. There is a possibility of the Prime Minister visiting that temple. That is what we understand. We are not sure if that is in the main plan or if it's a backup plan. And with the Prime Minister's convoy still around Chamarajpet area, will he go ahead with it? Because they are behind schedule slightly. Will they go ahead with it? That's something we'll have to see. But that seems to be one pit stop in this roadshow of the Prime Minister.
There, where the Prime Minister's roadshow is expected to end. Pallavi, the crowd swelling?
Yes, I don't know if you can hear me in this din, but I'm just going to get you those pictures once again of people now gathering over here. You can see the drum beats also very much over here, clearly waiting for the Prime Minister to try and turn up. And of course, the crowd is, of course, swelling up here. This is exactly the northwest, one of the most planned colonies of Bengaluru, Malleshwarapuram. And more than that, it also has a famous Shivji temple, which is of Malleshwaram. And we know that one of the core vote bank which the BJP is addressing is that of the Hindutva vote bank. We were just talking about the entire ban on Bajrang Dal a short while back. How is it the BJP ripping it up? They are accusing the Congress party of actually being anti-Hindu. Yesterday when I was speaking to the Women and Child Welfare Minister, Smriti Irani, she made the point on two grounds. One is a corruption issue, and the second, that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is hobnobbing and campaigning. But what about pictures of her offering namaz in a unity. A clear-cut attempt by the BJP to lead to a certain amount of polarization and a consolidation of the Hindutva vote bank. I'm just staying with these pictures for a bit if you're still getting it, Arunima.
Yes.
But you can see how people have put up their mobile phones in anticipation of the Prime Minister reaching here in a short while from now. You can see the drum beats also over here. A large number of women, of course, as we have been reporting, have emerged over here. I can see them also carrying petals, so I guess they're going to want to throw it on the Prime Minister. This entire area completely cordoned off. One side, of course, has been kept open for all the people of Bengaluru who have come here to get a glimpse of the Prime Minister.
It's interesting that you make that reference to polarization, politics that is happening, because at the start of the campaign, it looked like issues of hijab, halal, these were being pushed back by the BJP. Senior leaders like Yedurappa made a reference to that.
I'm just going to second guess your question, and because as you can understand, there's a lot of sound and show right behind me. Cutouts of the Prime Minister also have been put up. Police completely over here. So what happened in roadshows is that it's considered to be more of a direct interaction with the voters and the people. In rallies, because of the distance which are maintained because of security reasons, that kind of easy connectivity doesn't happen. Second, of course, language also remains a problem, though not so much in Bengaluru. We do manage to get people who speak in Hindi and English also over here, given the cosmopolitan culture of the capital city of Karnataka. But this, in a sense, is one of the most direct interactions the Prime Minister can have with the voters. I'm sure the pictures which have been put out would have been showing it, but over here also you're going to be seeing women putting up their mobile phones, people trying to catch a picture of the Prime Minister's cavalcade whenever it reaches here in a little bit of a time. We are being told it will take some time for it to reach over here. But in the meanwhile, all preparations in place. This is going to be the second last stop of the roadshow of the Prime Minister, 26 kilometers, and one of the most direct interactions the Prime Minister has. I mean, it's also become a pattern now, whether, he travels to other states, whether he travels to, of course, Karnataka, impromptu garlanding, impromptu reaching out to the people. The security, of course, remains a concern. I mean, as you know, there was a recent incident when a mobile phone was also thrown up, and there was this initial scare that was this security compromise or hazard, and of course a clarification was issued. But all kinds of shops over here have of course been shut down for some time. Traffic is moving around in the sense that people are allowed to commute, and I'm just staying with some pictures of people chanting Modi's slogan over here to get a glimpse of the Prime Minister.
Right, like Palvi is saying that it is some time before the cavalcade of the Prime Minister, the roadshow ends at the spot that she's standing. Harish was also telling us that the cavalcade could be behind schedule by a couple of minutes. But Pallavi, when you have been moving around the campaign trail, speaking to voters there, price rise, inflation, have they mentioned these words? Are these concerns?
That's a huge concern, because when we would speak to people, especially in the rural areas, and something which the Congress has tried to capture, GST for example, price rise, petrol and fuel prices, that's a major concern among the common man over here. If you look at a quick look of the manifesto of the BJP, Congress certainly has taken it up. But if you look at a quick look of the BJP manifesto, in that manifesto also they talk about the fact that whatever changes or development needs to take place will be done, but if only the BJP comes to power in the state. What really is the mantra that the BJP is working upon? Several things. I mean, this is the land of the Kariyappa, so what is happening back far away in Kashmir, and how the Prime Ministers or the government's national security policy, all of that is being kept in mind. Arunima, not many people would dismiss it off a coincidence, but I do see a strategy behind it. The SCO summit in Goa, our foreign minister talking tough to Pakistan. Bangalore has a large number of retired army men, which is why the Congress has included in the manifesto the old pension scheme as well, which works for the Congress party as far as Himachal is concerned. Nationalism, national security, Hindutva, and also an engine for change. These are some of the main points which are being picked up by the BJP in its counter to the Congress in what is turning out to be a kind of a cliffhanger election.
Right, we've been looking at these pictures, Pallavi. One thing that the Congress has been doing in attacking the BJP is attacking the incumbent Chief Minister. Now, he's not, I can't really spot him in this cavalcade. Is he with the Prime Minister, or is he conspicuous by his absence?
if you could repeat your question.
I was just asking about, the Chief Minister of Karnataka. He's come in for a lot of attack from the Congress party. Allegations have been made about personal corruption, about his government being corrupt. Now when the Prime Minister is doing his roadshow, is he throwing his weight firmly behind Mr. Bommai? Or is Mr. Bommai's, being kept at a distance?
I wouldn't call it keeping it at a distance, but clearly the Prime Minister, is focusing on the local leadership, and that's why we saw Tejasvi Surya, who is a member of Parliament from Bengaluru. As far as the CM face is concerned, is very interesting because neither the Congress nor the BJP have actually bothered to name the CM candidate. It's more, in hushed tones. It's more a kind of a whisper campaign. To talk very quickly about the Congress party, there's a toss-up whether it's going to be DK Shivkumar or Siddaramaiah. Increasingly, I do hear people saying that in case the Congress forms a government over here, it could be Siddaramaiah. As far as the BJP is concerned, I think it's become a pattern with them. They don't announce the CM face. It is there by inference. Bommai, if you look at the campaign the Congress party is carrying out since morning, calling him a weak chief minister, someone who is not have a grip over that administration. So, will that be a consideration in case the BJP wins over here in Karnataka? People said the same thing about Dhami in the case of Uttarakhand elections, but he was repeated. Same in the case of Assam, of course, we saw a change of CM. As of now, I haven't seen the Chief Minister accompanying the Prime Minister. I'm just waiting for him to arrive over here. So possibly I can give you an answer with very clarity, but with the initial pictures which have been coming up, I've seen Tejasvi Surya occupying the prominent place.
Yes, that's what is evident from the visuals that are coming in from Bengaluru. You were talking about the metro line. The Prime Minister is now crossing stretches of Bengaluru where the metro line is clearly visible, and that also, that Pallavi has been reporting, is part of what the BJP is promising. Infrastructure push, relief from local commuting woes by bringing in more non-vehicular traffic. Metro is one possible answer to that. But Pallavi, as far as number of assembly segments in this roadshow path is concerned, how many is the Bharatiya Janata Party targeting? Are there also pockets here which Congress dominates and BJP is trying to snatch them away with the Prime Minister's roadshow?
So Arunima, this is one of the largest assembly segments really, Bengaluru, which is why both the BJP and the Congress are giving a lot of focus on this area. Congress, of course, has a member of parliament. In fact, DK Shivkumar's brother, D. Suresh himself, is a member of parliament from Bengaluru. So the Congress is quite confident to be able to capture those segments over here. And for the BJP, it becomes very important to capture the urban votes. See, urban votes have largely been extremely popular as far as the BJP is concerned. And even as we speak, we see the pictures being put out by the BJP of senior citizens waiting to catch a glimpse of the Prime Minister. There's a reason behind it, because you also have a large number of senior citizens in Bengaluru. People have settled down over here, and they are a large vote bank. And unlike the young people over here, is these senior people who actually go out and cast their vote. So clearly that segment of the population is also now being targeted by the Prime Minister and the BJP.
Right. Harish Upadhyay is also with us on the broadcast. Harish, it's almost inching towards the end. What is the assessment that you're hearing? BJP must be very upbeat. Whatever they planned, this is going as per plan. Any feedback that Congress and JDS have to offer?
Well, the JDS is saying that they don't have much of a issue in Bangalore. There's one seat where they're focusing on, which they believe they would win. There is a sitting MLA. The Congress saying that yes, the Prime Minister comes, there is a huge crowd turnout, but the Congress says its assessment is that people won't get swayed. They would vote differently when it comes to Lok Sabha election and assembly elections. And they're saying that when people go out to vote, they would consider the issues of Karnataka, issues of Bengaluru and vote. Many of them asking how will Prime Minister coming here and people voting for the Prime Minister work in an assembly election. Many of them also quick to point out that the BJP leadership itself is not very clear who will be the next Chief Minister. And if Bommai continues, the Congress says that it's a continuation of a weak leadership. What will change for Bengaluru? And even when the BJP talks about double engine sarkar, that is what the Congress has been saying, that give us a report card that you promised 156 promises. How many of those have been promised, fulfilled? give us a report card is what the Congress is asking. The BJP says that there are several projects that we've already implemented and that is out there. We do not need to answer the Congress party. We are already telling the people what we are doing. Quickly, to get into the aspect of Chief Minister Basuraj Bommai, something that you and Pallavi were discussing, there seems to be a thinking that whether it's Prime Minister Narendra Modi's roadshow or his stage events or Home Minister Amit Shah's roadshow and stage events, the Chief Minister has been kept away. For example, he's not even in Bengaluru today. Basuraj Bommai in Hubli and Navalgund area today in Karnataka. He's nowhere in Bengaluru. We've seen multiple roadshows and rallies. He hasn't been called in there. He's just been asked to campaign on his own. And that, in a way, gives you a signal about what the party assesses in terms of Basuraj Bommai's own standing in Karnataka within the party. We've seen multiple roadshows where former Chief Minister Yadurappa has been made a part of. He's campaigning. The BJP says that's because we want to ensure all our leaders are spread out and we cover maximum area. But even last week or 10 days before that, we haven't seen the Chief Minister being in the same program as the top two leaders of BJP. Could be a small indication on how the party assesses where Basuraj Bommai stands. And that's also one of the reasons why the BJP is yet to come out and say if the party comes back to power, it will be Basuraj Bommai who will come back as the Chief Minister. Although traditionally we've seen that when a party says that the sitting Chief Minister is leading them, then if the party gets a clear majority, it's usually assumed that it would be the sitting Chief Minister who will come back because he has got the approval of the people. But the BJP not yet really mentioning if that is the plan.
So if not Basuraj Bommai, then who? Is there a joker in the pack?
Well, if you see how the BJP has worked over the last decade or so, they will pop up a face from anywhere and ensure that the party backs him, the party leadership and the MLAs back him. That's a model that's worked in various places. And there is no second number two in Karnataka BJP right now. There are various combinations that they'll have to think about. They'll have to think about the kind of votes they'll get. Remember, apart from the traditional Lingayat vote, the BJP wants to consolidate a significant chunk of the SC votes as well. And they are saying that we've increased reservation for SCs and STs. The SC left faction, the SC community, the BJP believes would back them to the hilt this time round. So there could be a thinking of having a Chief Minister from some other community as well. But there is a risk of then antagonizing the Lingayats who have traditionally backed the BJP ever since the Congress unceremoniously removed Virendra Patil as the Chief Minister, and the entire community was miffed and backed the BJP. So there will be a lot of permutation and combination, but clearly no clear number two in the party right now, and that would be a huge task for the BJP if they come back to power and decide not to have Basuraj Bommai and go for somebody else.
All right. So when they're looking at these pictures, Harish, help us understand where the Prime Minister has reached, how many more pit stops before he concludes the roadshow?
At least half an hour, there's a half an hour delay. He's crossing through the Vijayanagar area now, and he will also go to Basaveshwar Nagar and then reach Sankey Tank. And that could be anywhere around 1 o'clock is what we understand. Initially, the plan was that it would happen around 12:30, but the entire roadshow has been delayed slightly behind schedule. So it could be around 1 o'clock when the roadshow would culminate. As I mentioned, there is a plan of probably going to the Mallikarjun temple, but we will have to see if that materializes.
All right, Harish, thank you so much. Harish, Ritu, Pallavi getting us all the feel, all the voices from the ground as Prime Minister's roadshow continues. We're taking a break, but stay with us.
Starting this road show, but there you see now people all welcoming him in a grand manner. There is a huge crowd this time that we can really see in the IT city Bengaluru, though this road show is taking place where the BJP has a strong hold. But of course, this is also an attempt to make, all attempt to also move the voters from the places, the assembly, the constituencies where the Congress is strong. But yes, there you see in the visual now the Prime Minister Narendra Modi waving his hand towards the people with a bright smile on his face, and there people all chanting and showering flower petals
So massive show of strength by the BJP in Bengaluru ahead of the Karnataka polls. PM Modi's roadshow has started, and as you can see on your screens right now, people are showering flower petals on Prime Minister Modi, and this is a massive show of strength by the BJP ahead of the Karnataka polls. PM Modi is holding a mega roadshow in Bengaluru where he will be covering a distance of 26 kilometers today and around 10 kilometers tomorrow. And ahead of his roadshow, in fact, PM Modi stressed that the bond between Bengaluru and BJP is an old and strong one, and that the city has always supported the BJP since the early days. And he also said that the BJP has made numerous efforts for Bengaluru's growth, and that he is seeking the blessings of the people of Bengaluru based on BJP's track record.
Well, namaste and Jai Hind, ladies and gentlemen. This is a conversation I've been looking forward to, because this is a story that's been there in the ether since about 2008 and also done the rounds in the courts of Kerala, became a national headline and an issue, and a lot of people believe this is nothing but largely propaganda. Where is the proof, is what many would ask. And then for somebody to go ahead and say, let's make a story out of it, somebody to decide I want to direct it, and then to decide that I want to act in it. So the Kerala story, Vipul Shahji, Ada, and also Sudipto ji. Namaste. So all three of you, the maker, the director, and of course, the actor. Why do this story?
Because when Sudipto Dada narrated me this story, I was kind of in tears. And I thought that something so sad is happening to these girls. Our daughters are getting completely radicalized through a manipulated conversion, and their lives are getting destroyed. And while living in this industry and living in Bombay, we have no idea. So how will the nation know about it? So this topic needs to be told to the whole nation, world. And some action has to be taken against this. That was the only thought with which we